The .22 long rifle has always been underestimated, but in 2025, one particular rimfire round is changing everything. It's faster, more specialized, and more capable than anyone expected. Built to push the limits of what the .22 can do in real-world situations, it's a specialized performer that's taking over rifles, pistols, and even revolvers across the country. This is the .22 long rifle load that's taking over in 2025. And today, we're breaking down what makes it a game changer, along with the quiet revolution reshaping rimfire as we know it. Reason 1. Match-grade accuracy. The .22 long rifle has always had a reputation for being precise, but in 2025, match-grade accuracy is reaching levels that used to be impossible for rimfire. This is not about casual plinking anymore. It's about hitting the same hole at 50 yards again and again, even in tough conditions. Companies like Lapua, Ely, and SK have refined their production techniques to the point where every detail counts. Each case is checked for exact wall thickness. The rims are measured for perfect concentricity, and powder charges are verified to burn at a consistent rate. Even bullet seating depth is standardized within thousandths of an inch. These aren't marketing claims, they're manufacturing realities now. The bullets themselves are typically 40-grain brown nose lead, kept at subsonic velocities, around 1,070 feet per second. That speed avoids the turbulence caused by breaking the sound barrier, which helps keep the bullet stable through wind, heat, and distance. Some of these rounds stay within 0.2 to 0.3 MOA at 50 yards when used in properly tuned rifles, and they're holding groups better than 1 MOA, even out past 100. It's not just paper punchers using these either. Hunters with suppressed .22 rifles are turning to match ammo for consistency because every shot on small game counts. With tighter groups, cleaner burn, and virtually no flyers, this new generation of match-grade .22 long rifle is turning precision shooting into something accessible and repeatable. Reason 2. Suppressor-optimized subsonic loads. Suppressor use is at an all-time high in 2025, and ammo makers are finally delivering subsonic .22 long rifle loads built from the ground up for suppressed shooting. These aren't your grandfather's slow rounds with dirty powder and whisper quiet pop. These are precision-engineered cartridges that make suppressed shooting cleaner, quieter, and more consistent. Traditional subsonic ammo often burned unevenly, leaving carbon caked inside suppressors and pushing gas and residue into the action. That meant more cleaning, more fouling, and more malfunctions. The new generation fixes all that. Companies like RWS and CCI are now using powder blends that are tuned to burn completely inside short barrels, producing less flash and significantly less unburned residue. Most of these rounds clock in at 950 to 1,000 feet per second, just below the speed of sound. That means no crack, just a soft thud when paired with a suppressor. Even more impressive is the bullet design. These subsonics feature deep hollow points with thinner jacket walls, designed to expand reliably at lower speeds, something older rimfire ammo often fail to do. Accuracy hasn't been sacrificed either. In fact, many of these new subsonic rounds deliver 1 MOA or better from suppressed bolt-action rifles. For pest control, small game, or backyard training, these loads offer a quiet, clean shooting solution that's more than a gimmick. They're a smart evolution of the rimfire platform, proving that silence doesn't have to come with trade-offs. Reason 3. Hyper-velocity ammunition. If speed kills, then hyper-velocity .22 long rifle is the executioner in 2025. These rounds are engineered to squeeze every ounce of velocity out of this tiny cartridge without sacrificing safety, accuracy, or consistency. We're talking about rounds like the Remington Yellow Jacket and CCI Stinger, and now newer entries like the Winchester Hyperspeed HP. These cartridges push lightweight bullets, usually in the 30 to 33 grain range, to velocities north of 1,600 feet per second. Some even brush 1,700 when fired from a rifle-length barrel. That speed flattens trajectory, stretches effective range, and hits with more punch than most would expect from a rimfire. But velocity alone isn't what makes them so effective today. In 2025, manufacturers have fine-tuned the powder composition, optimized case geometry, and improved bullet plating to minimize fouling and improve feeding. These upgrades mean hyper-velocity rounds no longer sacrifice reliability in semi-autos or burn out barrels faster than you can blink. They're devastating on small game, too. The sharp, truncated, hollow points expand fast, fragmenting in soft tissue and ensuring a clean kill. It's a favorite for ground squirrels, rabbits, and even raccoons at extended ranges. For shooters who want their .22 long rifle to perform more like a miniature Magnum, hyper-velocity loads are the ticket. They're loud, fast, and brutally efficient, and in 2025, they're more dialed in than ever. Reason 4, suppressor-optimized subsonic loads. In 2025, suppressor users finally have .22 long rifle ammo that lives up to the promise. Quiet, clean, and deadly accurate. These aren't your dad's low-velocity rounds that barely cycled and gummed up your baffles. The new generation of suppressor-optimized subsonics solves all the old problems and creates a whole new class of precision rimfire. At the heart of these loads is a carefully tuned powder blend that burns completely within the barrel. That means less blowback, less unburned powder clogging up your suppressor, and far more consistent ignition. Sound levels drop by another 3 to 4 decibels compared to legacy subsonic rounds, which makes a huge difference when you're hunting or plinking in a quiet field. These loads typically fire 38 to 45 grain bullets at around 950 to 1050 feet per second. That keeps them subsonic, but still delivers enough energy to cleanly drop small game. The bullets themselves are often hollow points with thinner jackets and deeper cavities designed to expand even at low velocities. Think clean mushrooming through fur without over-penetration or ricochets. And it's not just about sound. These rounds often leave behind far less carbon, so your suppressor stays cleaner longer and your action cycles smoother. When you're shooting suppressed pistols, rifles, or integrally suppressed platforms, these cartridges are the reason suppressed rimfire has become a serious setup for hunters and trainers alike in 2025. Reason 5. Match revolver loads. Revolver fans have been overlooked for years when it comes to .22 long rifle. Most factory ammo was built for semi-autos, leaving wheel guns to deal with gas loss, poor burn rates, and sloppy groups. But 2025 changed all that. Match-grade revolver loads are now a thing, and they're finally doing justice to the platform. These cartridges are engineered from the ground up with revolvers in mind. The bullet bases are reshaped to form a better seal at the cylinder gap, reducing the gas blowby that used to bleed off velocity and accuracy. The powders inside are tuned to burn completely in shorter barrels, meaning no wasted energy, less unburned residue, and a smoother pressure curve. What does that mean in the real world? Accuracy has improved dramatically. Instead of the 3 to 4 MOA scatter, typical of standard ammo, revolver-specific rounds now group at 1.5 to 2 MOA, a night and day difference. The tailored burn rate also reduces muzzle flash, keeping the chambers cleaner, and cuts down on carbon fouling around the forcing cone. It's a win for anyone using rimfire revolvers for hunting, target practice, or even training, with a cheap alternative to centerfire. And in 2025, this category is a legitimate upgrade that makes your old six-shooter feel like a custom tack driver. Reason 6. High-capacity bulk packs. Bulk .22 long rifle has always been a mixed bag. You'd get 500 or 1,000 rounds for cheap, but along with that came light primer strikes, flyers, and maybe 1 out of 50 rounds that sounded like it forgot its powder charge. In 2025, that's finally changing. Ammo makers have wised up. With better machinery and tighter quality control, high-capacity packs are no longer reserved for throwaway plinking ammo. Brands like Blazer, Norma, and Aguila now offer 300 to 500 round bricks that deliver surprising consistency. You get clean burning powder, uniform primer seating, and far fewer velocity swings, which used to be the biggest reason accuracy fell apart past 25 yards. These book rounds aren't match grade, but they're no longer junk either. Most stay within 2 to 3 MOA at 50 yards and cycle reliably through semi-autos and bolt guns alike. It's the sweet spot for high-volume shooting, whether you're doing weekend plinking, introducing new shooters, or burning through steel challenge drills. Another big plus in 2025 is packaging. More brands are ditching the cheap cardboard for resealable plastic trays or ammo cans that protect against moisture and keep rounds clean. That's a small thing, but it makes storing and transporting your rimfire stash easier than ever. For the first time in decades, you don't have to choose between quality and quantity. Bulk 22 long rifle has finally grown up, and your wallet and your targets will both thank you. Reason 7, rimfire loads designed for self-defense. It used to be that if someone said they carried a 22 for self-defense, you'd assume they either didn't know better or had no other choice. But in 2025, that's not the case anymore. There are now rimfire cartridges specifically built for real defensive use, and they're nothing like the old-school hollow points that barely expanded or even cycled. Leading the pack are loads like the Federal Punch 22 long rifle and Winchester Silver Tip. These aren't gimmicks. They fire lightweight, nickel-plated projectiles at high velocities, often at over 1,050 feet per second, even from short barrels. They're designed not to expand, but to penetrate, and penetrate deep. In FBI-style gel testing, these rounds routinely hit the 12-inch mark, even through denim and layered clothing. The reason they work is simple. They skip unreliable expansion and focus on consistent straight-line penetration. The flat nose or truncated cone shapes cut through tissue without tumbling, and the nickel plating improves cycling in semi-autos where rimfire ammo typically struggles. These rounds also burn cleaner, reducing the amount of carbon that gums up your slide or cylinder. That's a huge win for micro pistols, where every bit of reliability counts. And while no one's calling 22 long rifle a powerhouse, these specialized loads give people with limited recoil tolerance like seniors or recoil-sensitive shooters a legitimate tool they can actually train with and use effectively. Reason 8, rimfire ammo with defensive expansion. For decades, 22 long rifle had struggled to deliver reliable expansion. Most hollow points simply didn't move fast enough to mushroom properly, especially out of shorter barrels. But 2025 has flipped the script with a new class of 22 long rifle rounds that are engineered to expand and actually do it in real-world conditions. Take the CCI Velocitor, for example. It fires a 40-grain plated hollow point at around 1,435 feet per second out of a rifle and still breaks the 1,000 FPS mark from many pistols. That's fast enough to open up the bullet in soft tissue, and thanks to its deep cavity and controlled jacket thickness, it expands without fragmenting, holding together for deeper penetration. This type of design isn't about making a wound look big on paper. It's about creating a wider, permanent cavity that increases stopping power without over-penetrating. Rounds like these are now being tuned to deliver expansion even in suboptimal conditions, and they're proving themselves in both gel tests and field reports. Even more impressive is how well they function in compact semi-autos. CCI and others have improved rim geometry, primer sensitivity, and powder burn to keep cycling smooth in guns that used to hate hollow points. You're not giving up reliability anymore to get expansion. You're getting both. For those who insist that expansion matters, these rounds offer proof that technology has caught up. In the right setup, with the right ammo, rimfire can now mushroom and punch well above its weight. Reason 9. Clean burning powder and low fouling loads. If you've ever shot a brick of .22 long rifle in one session, you know how filthy things can get. Dirty chambers, lead-spattered suppressor baffles, sticky bolt carriers. Traditional rimfire ammo has a reputation for being messy, but that's changing fast in 2025 as clean-burning powder formulas take center stage. Manufacturers like Norma, Federal, and Lapua are using improved powder blends that leave behind less carbon and unburned residue. These modern propellants ignite more completely, especially in semi-automatics where blowback systems tend to suck fouling right into the action. That cleaner burn translates to fewer jams, less cleaning, and longer shooting sessions without degradation in performance. It's not just about powder either. Some of these new low-fouling rounds use advanced bullet coatings like nickel plating or proprietary wax blends to reduce lead buildup in barrels and minimize friction through tight chambers. The result, extended barrel life, better accuracy retention over time, and a shooting experience that feels more like centerfire reliability in a rimfire package. This shift toward cleaner shooting isn't only for precision nerds or high-volume competitors. It benefits casual plinkers, small game hunters, and suppressed shooters too. Your gun runs smoother, your hands stay cleaner, and your maintenance routine becomes a whole lot easier. In short, 2025's best rimfire loads aren't just about what happens downrange. They're also about making life easier behind the trigger. Cleaner, smarter, and built for performance from the first shot to the last. Reason 10. Target-specific pest control loads. Rimfire has always had a role in pest control, but in 2025, ammo makers are getting laser-focused with .22 long rifle cartridges designed for specific targets like rodents, birds, and burrowing pests. Take the CCI segmenting HP, for example. It's a 40-grain bullet that breaks into 3 equal pieces on impact, creating multiple wound channels. That means quick takedowns without over-penetration, which is critical when shooting around livestock, sheds, or outbuildings. No ricochets, no through-and-throughs, just terminal performance where it counts. Other brands are going the route of ultra-expanding rounds that dump energy immediately on impact. These are built to fragment in soft tissue, ensuring that even small-caliber hits stop pests fast. You're seeing tighter velocity ranges, too, around 1,050 to 1,250 feet per second, optimized for common barrel lengths and expected distances like 20 to 40 yards. The bottom line, these specialized pest control rounds give ranchers, farmers, and backyard shooters more control over every shot. You get precision, power, and peace of mind with no wasted ammo and no second chances needed. And that wraps up our breakdown of the most advanced .22 long rifle innovation shaping 2025. Rimfire loads that are pushing boundaries in accuracy, suppression, self-defense, and real-world reliability. Some of these rounds are already changing how people shoot, while others are quietly making their way into serious setups. But picking the right .22 long rifle isn't about trends or marketing. It's about knowing what works for your platform, your goals, and your environment. If you found this helpful, hit that subscribe button and stay tuned. We've got more real-world gun and ammo breakdowns coming your way.